Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Meyers. So I'm going to talk about the environment for analysis of geolocated energy information. This is DOE's situational awareness platform for electric utility customer outages. Currently, we collect data for about 140 million utility customers. That's not population, that's customers. That covers about 93% of the U.S. customers that's reported by EIA. So the crux of this capability is to provide that information. But when we got the capability back from DOE in 2016, the question was, how do we sustain this capability? It was written in a commercial off-the-shelf platform. It had some flaws. How do we make it better? So we did an analysis. Should we move this to open source? Should we keep the current architecture? Should we develop a new commercial architecture around it? Looking at modernization, cloud deployments, authentication, kind of reducing our vendor tie-ins, looking at a lot of different things. So we did this trade-off analysis, and to bury the lead with the title of that slide, we ended up with an open source solution. Why did we end up here? One, Oak Ridge, the Geospatial Sciences and Human Security Division, we were at the time, it's probably 15 years now, we're developing off 10 years of open source web application development. We knew we could do a lot with it. One of our kind of general principles is we found that getting to an end solution with commercial off the shelf might get you 80% faster, but that last 20% to get the full utilization that our users need requires some really deep customization. So open source allowed us to really meet those user needs better. So we kind of landed on Docker for containerization, Java and Python, and then for OGC services, so sharing the data out is one of the core principles that we have. We decided to use GeoServer. So that's built in within developing all of this off of a Postgres database. So now that we have a very modern, sustainable architecture, now we can start to do more open science with it. One of the questions that we realized early on in this is not all counties are created equal. Big counties, little counties, power outages within these show differently. When you want to visualize consistently across the United States, we need to use percent of outages. There's not a national data set that has that, so we developed our own. So we created this, what we call modeled county customers. So looking at the EIA data, looking at data that we've collected in the past, we've actually been able to create this data set that lets you look at, for a utility in a county, what is an expected number of customers? And we update this annually. We're also taking it, not all outages are bad. So when you're looking at energy justice question, this is one of the common themes is an outage is bad. And so we're starting to look at not just the number of outages, but what are the behaviors of utilities within counties. So from this history of data, we can now look at behaviors, trends, pattern analysis to understand how do these utilities behave across county boundaries, within county boundaries, so we can start to maybe get at some of those energy justice questions. And then again, to support open science, one of the major things that we released just this past year was our whole historic archive of outage data. So we have data going back to November of 2014 through December of 2022. In January of 24, we will release all of 2023's data. That's the DOI that you can use to find the information. It's every 15 minutes for every utility in every county. For that whole duration. We can also do extracts. If you want a particular event, you want a subset of counties, we can actually help you get to that information. 5 minutes is not a lot of time. So luckily, I have a presentation in the main Phosphor-G conference at 11:30 on Wednesday if you want to come hear about more, or you can find me walking around and talk to me about things. If you have any specific questions, eagle-i@ono.gov gets you to a monitored inbox that can help answer those questions or make data requests, get you that information that you need to utilize some of those capabilities. Thank you.